Bible in a Year, the Message Version, April 11, Joshua chapter 3, verse 1 through chapter 4, verse 24. Joshua was up early and on his way from Shittim with all the people of Israel with him. He arrived at the Jordan and camped before crossing over. After 3 days, leaders went through the camp and gave out orders to the people. When you see the covenant chest of God, your God, carried by the Levitical priests, start moving. Follow it. Make sure you keep a proper distance between you and it, about a half a mile. Be sure now to keep your distance, and you'll see clearly the route to take. You've never been on this road before. Then Joshua addressed the people. Sanctify yourself. Tomorrow God will work miracle wonders among you. Joshua instructed the priests, take up the chest of the covenant and step out before the people. So they took it up and proceeded before the people. God said to Joshua, this very day I will begin to make you great in the eyes of Israel. They'll see for themselves that I'm with you in the same way that I was with Moses. You will command the priests who are carrying the chest of the covenant. When you come to the edge of Jordan's waters, stand there on the riverbank. Then Joshua addressed the people of Israel. Attention, listen to what God your God has to say. This is how you'll know that God is alive among you. He will completely dispose it before you the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Gershites, Amorites, and Jebusites. Look at what's before you, the chest of the covenant. Think of it. The master of the entire earth is crossing the Jordan as you watch. Now, take 12 men from the tribes of Israel, 1 man from each tribe. When the soles of the feet of the priests carry the chest of God, master of all the earth, touch the Jordan water, the flow of water will be stopped. The water coming from upstream will pile up in a heap. And that's what happened. The people left their tents to cross the Jordan, led by the priest carrying the chest of the covenant. When the priests got to the Jordan and their feet touched the water at the edge, the Jordan overflows its banks throughout the harvest. The flow of the water stopped. It piled up in a heap a long way off at Adam, which is near Zarathan. The river went dry all the way down to Arabah Sea, the Salt Sea, and the people crossed, facing Jericho. And there they stood. Those priests carrying the chest of the covenant stood firmly planted on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, while all Israel crossed on dry ground. Finally, the whole nation was across the Jordan, and not one wet foot. When the whole nation was finally across, God spoke to Joshua, select 12 men from the people, a man from each tribe, and tell them, from right here, the middle of the Jordan, where the feet of the priests are standing firm, take 12 stones, carry them across with you, and set them down in the place where you camp tonight. Joshua called out the 12 men whom he selected from the people of Israel, 1 man from each tribe. Joshua directed them, cross to the middle of the Jordan and take your place in front of the chest of God your God. Each of you heft a stone to your shoulder, a stone for each of the tribes of the people of Israel, so you'll have something later to mark the occasion. When your children ask you, what are these stones to you? You'll say, the flow of the Jordan was stopped in front of the chest of the covenant of God as it crossed the Jordan, stopped in its tracks. These stones are a permanent memorial of the people of Israel. The people of Israel did exactly as Joshua commanded. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, a stone for each of the 12 tribes, just as God had instructed Joshua, carried them across to the camp, and set them down. Joshua set up the 12 stones taken from the middle of the Jordan that had marked the place where the priests who carried the chest of the covenant had stood. They are still there today. The priests carrying the chest continued standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything God had instructed Joshua to tell the people to do was done, confirming what Moses had instructed Joshua. The people crossed. No one dawdled. When the crossing of all the people was complete, they watched as the chest of the covenant and the priests crossed over. The Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh had crossed over in battle formation in front of the people of Israel, obedient to Moses' instructions. All told, about 40,000 armed soldiers crossed over before God to the plains of Jericho, ready for battle. God made Joshua great that day in the sight of all Israel. They were in awe of him, just as they had been in awe of Moses all his life. God told Joshua, "Command the priests carrying the chest of the testimony to come up from the Jordan." Joshua commanded the priests, "Come up from the Jordan." They did it. The priests carrying God's chest of the covenant came up from the middle of the Jordan. As soon as the soles of the priests' feet touched dry land, the Jordan's waters resumed their flow within the banks, just as before. The people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month. They set up camp at the Gilgal, the circle, to the east of Jericho. Joshua erected a monument at the Gilgal using 12 stones that they had taken from the Jordan. And then he told the people of Israel, "In the days to come, when your children ask their fathers, 'What are these stones doing here?' Tell the children this: Israel crossed over this Jordan on dry ground. Yes, God, your God, dried up the Jordan's waters for you until he had crossed, just as God, your God, did at the Red Sea, which had dried up before us until we had crossed." This was so that everybody on earth would recognize how strong God's rescuing hand is, and so that you would hold God in solemn reverence always. Luke chapter 14, verse 7 through verse 35. He, Jesus, went on to tell a story to the guests around the table, noticing how each had tried to elbow into the place of honor. He said, "When someone invites you to dinner, don't take the place of honor. Somebody more important than you might have been invited by the host. Then he'll come and call out in front of everybody, 'You're in the wrong place. The place of honor belongs to this man.' Embarrassed, you'll have to make your way to the very last table, the only place left. When you're invited to dinner, go and sit at the last place. Then, when the host comes, he may very well say, 'Friend, come up to the front.' That will give the dinner guests something to talk about. What I'm saying is, if you walk around all high and mighty, you're going to end up flat on your face. But if you're content to simply be yourself, you will become more than yourself." Then he turned to the host. "The next time you put on a dinner, don't just invite your friends and family and rich neighbors, the kind of people whom will return the favor. Invite some people who never get invited out, the misfits from the wrong side of the tracks. You'll be and experience a blessing. They won't be able to return the favor, but the favor will be returned. Oh, how it will be returned at the resurrection of God's people." That triggered a response from one of the guests. "How fortunate the one who gets to eat dinner in God's kingdom." Jesus followed up, "Yes, for there was a man who threw a great dinner party and invited many. When it was time for dinner, he sent out his servants into the invited guests, saying, 'Come on in, the food's on the table.' Then they all began to beg off, one after another, making excuses. The first said, 'I bought a piece of property and need to go look it over. Send my regrets.' Another said, 'I just bought 5 teams of oxen. I really need to check them out. Send my regrets.' And yet another, 'I just got married and need to get home to my wife.' The servant went back and told the master what had happened. He was outraged and told the servant, 'Quickly, get out into the city streets and alleys. Collect all who look like they need a square meal, all the misfits and homeless and down and out. You can lay your hands on and bring them here.' The servant reported back, 'Master, I did what you commanded, and there's still room.' The master said, 'Then go into the country roads. Whoever you find, drag them in. I want my house full.' Let me tell you, Not one of those originally invited is going to get so much as a bite at my dinner party. One day, when large groups of people were walking along with him, Jesus turned and told them, "Anyone who comes to me but refuses to let go of father, mother, spouse, children, brother, sisters, yes, even one's own self, can't be my disciple. Anyone who won't shoulder his own cross and follow behind me can't be my disciple." Is there anyone here who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure the cost so you know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun of you. He started something he couldn't finish. Or, can you imagine a king going into battle against another king without first deciding whether it is possible for his 10,000 troops to face the 20,000 troops of the other? And if he decides he can't, won't he send an emissary and work out a truce? Simply put, if you're not willing to take what is dearest to you, whether plans or people, and kiss it goodbye, you can't be my disciple. Salt is excellent, but if the salt goes flat, it's useless, good for nothing. Are you listening to this? Really listening? Psalm chapter 80, verse 1 through verse 19. An Asaph psalm. Listen, shepherd, Israel's shepherd, get all your Joseph sheep together. Throw beams of light from your dazzling throne, so Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh can see where they're going. Get out of bed. You've slept long enough. Come on the run before it's too late. God, come back. Smile your blessing smile. That will be our salvation. God, God of the angel armies, how long will you smolder like a sleeping volcano while your people call for fire and brimstone? You put us on a diet of tears, bucket after bucket of salty tears to drink. You make us look ridiculous to our friends. Our enemies poke fun day after day. God of the angel armies, come back. Smile your blessing smile. That will be our salvation. Remember how you brought a young vine from Egypt, cleared out the brambles and briars, and planted your very own vineyard? You prepared the good earth. You planted her roots deep. The vineyard filled the land. Your vine soared high and shaded the mountains, even dwarfing the giant cedars. Your vine ranged west to the sea, east to the river. So why do you no longer protect your vine? Trespassers pick its grapes at will. Wild pigs crash through and crush it, and the mice nibble away at what's left. God of the angel armies, turn our way. Take a good look at what's happened and attend to this vine. Care for what you once tenderly planted, the vine you raised from a shoot. And those who dare to set it on fire, give them a look that will kill. Then take the hand of your once favorite child, the child you raised to adulthood. We will never turn our back on you. Breathe life into our lungs so that we can shout your name. God, God of angel armies, come back. Smile your blessing smile. That will be our salvation. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27 and verse 28. A lazy life is an empty life, but early to rise gets the job done. Good men and women travel right into life. Sin's detours take you straight to hell. This was a daily reading from the Message version of the Bible, read to you by Bible in a Year.